I'm actually making this video as a preemptive review to Dragonquest Monsters. It's actually called Dragon Warrior Monsters the way I'm playing it now, but that's the English dub. I'm going to call it Dragonquest because that's originally what it was called in translation, and for some reason they changed it to Dragon Warrior. I'm not sure why. Personally, I think Dragon Warrior sounds better, but it's been called Dragonquest ever since I don't know. It was called Dragonquest after like the third title, so I'm just gonna fucking call it Dragonquest. The point is, I'm making this video to prove that I'm not just a negative Nancy that's incapable of having a positive opinion on a game. I will write a thorough review after I've actually played it all the way, but as of right now, I'm pretty content with the game. It's the way Pokemon should have been. The graphics are subpar. I mean, it's a Game Boy Color game, but even for that, it's kind of bad. It looks like Nintendo graphics. But that's tolerable. If it's a good game, I can deal with shitty graphics. So, the premise is that you're this boy that didn't go to bed early, and if you don't go to bed when you're supposed to, monsters will come and kidnap your kids. Those are some horrible parents. But apparently it's true. The little boy didn't go to bed when he was supposed to, and the monster comes out of a dresser and kidnaps his sister. He was originally going to kidnap his sister anyway, so I guess going to bed early makes no difference because you're going to get kidnapped anyway. So, maybe that says something about society. So your sister gets kidnapped, and you go into the monster world, and, the king seems to like you. He seems to think that you have the potential to be this great monster trainer because you can speak monster, which is rare. Kind of like Harry Potter can talk to serpents. So, he gives you your starting monster, which is this ooze, and you don't get to name it, which kind of sucks. But when I started the game, I thought the ooze sucked. You know, I got him to level 3, and then I dumped him because I figured, fuck it. He's in my breeding camp thing right now, and come to find out, the ooze is actually a pretty good monster. He'll learn Fireball if I were to level him up. So none of the monsters really feel like you're wasting your time with them. You just have to either be patient with them or you know, just have them around. And like, I always keep the monsters that I fought as a mini boss because I figure those are the good ones. Or you can breed better ones. The best monsters you have to breed. You have to know what you're doing, and you breed these perfect monsters. I don't feel like doing all that. So, what I'm trying to say here is, it's like Pokemon, except that when you battle a monster, they decide if they want to be caught by you. If they respect you in battle, they will offer to join your team. And you could choose to let them join your team or not. After they've joined your team, their health is replenished and everything like that, unlike Pokemon. And you see them traveling with you. All the monsters travel behind you, which, it's not necessary, but I like being able to see my monsters follow me around. It gives me that semblance of I'm reminded what monsters they are, what they can do, and it makes it feel more personal and more, it just feels like I know what I'm dealing with if I have the monsters there staring at me. So, that's one good thing about it. It's completely different from Pokemon. I mean, not just in the little details, but like the entire game. Gym leaders are different. Essentially, you are fighting trainers and building yourself up so that you can represent the kingdom. And when you obviously fight the main boss, you're going to represent the kingdom and honor that kingdom by winning for him. And the winner gets a magical wish, and you're going to wish for your sister back because you're beta. So, what I like about this game is the mechanics. The monsters level up quickly. It doesn't feel like a drudgery battling monsters. They learn cool spells. They don't have, like, only 4 abilities they know and only can use it so many times. Like in Pokemon, let's say you could use Thunderbolt 15 times. It doesn't work that way in Dragon Quest. In Dragon Quest, if you learned a Thunderbolt equivalent, Thunderbolt would drain you of, like, 5 mana. But, every different spell has a different amount of mana it expends. But every power draws from that mana source, but not a separate entity. In Dungeons and Dragons, we would call this the spell point system versus the Vasian magic system. And I actually prefer the spell point system. As well in Dragon Quest, when you go through a teleporter to go into the forest and look for the next mini-boss and things like that, the warp point to get to the next level is randomly inserted on the map. So you will have to travel around. But it doesn't really feel like it's that big of a deal because the map is very limited in scope. So yeah, you're going to have to take a few steps, but in general, it doesn't feel that bad. And you will find items along the way. That makes it better. It makes you not get bored with it because, hey, it's fun to look around and wander and find gold and potions. Well, there's no potions, actually, but there's herbs, and it does the same thing. And it just feels comfortable. It feels natural, and it flows very well. And the monsters all seem useful. Right now I have the golem, a dragon, and a bat thing that can put things to sleep, and that's very useful. The AI on your end is actually pretty good too, because you don't even have to tell your monsters to do the right thing. Like when I had the healer, he would heal my monsters for me. I didn't have to tell him to do it. But it's probably better if you do. So in general, it's just superior Pokemon. It's the way Pokemon should have been, and yet Game Freak is so arrogant because they were successful that they felt that they didn't feel the need to have to do it this way. There's more monsters than initially in Pokemon. Dragon Quest, the first one, has like over 200 monsters, as opposed to the first Pokemon game, which only had 150, I believe, because you had to have special privileges to get Mew or Game Shark. And you could never catch all 150. And in this game, it's not even about catching them. It's about getting the monsters you like, building up your army, and battling the shit out of people. And I like that. It's just a good game. It's a primitive game, but it's good. It was well designed. Whoever made it knew what the fuck they were doing. And I am willing to say that. If you made a good game, I will point that out, and I will point out why it was good, and that way in the future, other gaming companies or other gaming developers or, can learn from that and add to it and develop it even further. This is a good game. It kind of reminds me of Blue Dragon, because Blue Dragon is another game I like. And, it's well designed, it's colorful, it's optimistic, but, it does it well. A lot of JRPGs are not grimdark. Western games are all about the dreary future of fat space marines killing ugly aliens and shit. JRPGs tend to be more cartoony, and that's one good feature about them. It's a breath of fresh air, because the world is grimdark enough. But they all suck. This one doesn't suck. Dragon Quest Monsters is a damn good game. Probably one of the better games I've played in a long time. And for me to compare it to Blue Dragon is saying a lot, because Blue Dragon's one of my favorite games, and one of the few games that I could say is my favorite. Because there are games I've tolerated, but none that I've actually liked. Blue Dragon I liked, and now, as far as I can tell, Dragon Quest Monsters I like. So that should tell you about whether or not this is a good game, because it's very hard to please me or just impress me, and this game does both. So, that's it.